Okay, let me just go back, kind of hurried through number 4, but we had labeled these arcs accordingly. That was the outer and inner arc made by the tangent and the secant. If we subtract them, right, that formula is subtract those two arcs and divide by 2, and you get the measure of the external angle. I want to go back here and make sure I found it. LMK. LMK is that angle I wanted, okay? And the measure of that angle is half of 5x minus 3x, which is 2x. Half of 2x is just x. So funny enough, our x that we found is actually the measure of what we wanted. Okay. Now, number 5 has a similar situation. If you haven't done this yet, use what we learned in number 4 to set up some kind of variable for AC and CB. Label the other things in your diagram and see if there's some way to relate those arcs and come up with a value. Okay, and then there are some other angles involved that we've done in the past, not necessarily on this lesson, that inscribed angles, things like that, that might help you. Angle formed by two chords. So this is really a good problem to practice. If you haven't done it yet, hit pause, use this ratio here to set up an equation that can somehow get you all the different arcs in the circle that you need to answer the question. Maybe even go back in your notes, look at remind yourself what is the measure of an angle formed by two chords. What's an angle, inscribed angle? How do you find all these angles? Okay. Okay, I'm going to go on. So I'm going to jump right to here because I'm seeing the ratio AC to CB, the measure of the arc AC, which is right here, to the ratio of the, divided by CB is in the ratio of 3 to 1. Now, using what I just learned, I'm just going to call that 3x, right? I'm going to call this 2x. So that relates those two arcs. And that's where I'm going to start because now I'm going to go back and plug in what I know into the diagram. DA, the arc DA is 56 degrees. There was no degree measure there, but it should be degrees. 56 degrees. And measure of arc DB, which is the missing arc that we're needed here to complete the circle, is 112. Okay, if you weren't able to solve this problem yet, hit pause again, see if you can somehow find x, because that's the key to this problem. Okay, I'm going to go ahead here. All these arcs add up to 360. So you got 3x plus 2x plus 56 plus 112 equals 360 degrees. This part right here, what's that add up to? 168. Okay. Here I got the variables. So that's 5x plus 168. Let me go ahead and subtract 168. 168. Notice I'm showing my algebra on both sides of the equation. On the right side, I get, over here, I'm going to get 0. So 5x plus 0 is just 5x. On the right side, that is almost 200. It's 8 away from 200. That's 192. Right? Wait, why did I put 2x? That's a mistake. Sorry. Just caught a mistake. I remember it's 3 to 1. Right? So this is x, not 2x. Oops. 3x plus x is going to be 4x. So 4x equals 192. I'm going to divide by 4 on both sides. And, you know, 200 divided by 4 is 50. I'm 8 short of 50. So I'm 8 divided by 4 short of 50. That's 2 short of 50. It should be 48. I don't know if you followed my mental math there. 48 degrees then is this arc, x, and 3 times x, which is almost 3 times 50. What's 150 divided by 3 times 2, which is 6? That's 144. Again, I don't know if you followed my mental math there, but I don't like to pull out my calculator. Pull out, you guys got your calculator in your man's ear. You got one in your sock. Now you're carrying an extra one in your underwear because I've been talking about your man's ear and your in your socks. Now you got an extra one in your underwear just because, you want to piss me off. You want to piss off your math teacher, huh? When he goes off on tangents and he's not staying inside the circle? All right, I see you. Okay. Now we've got the measure of each arc of this circle. We're starting to have some tingles because now we're going to put it all together and actually answer a question. The measure of arc CEB. Okay. Let me erase some of this extra information here. And I'm going to highlight in bright pink. The measure of angle CEB. CEB. This arc right here. Sorry, that angle. That angle is made by two chords. If you continue those lines, that angle is made by two chords. Let me call this X in here. That's an angle formed by two chords. Go back and look in your notes. There's a couple lessons ago. How do we find the measure of an angle formed by two chords? Notice that is not a central angle. It's not at the center of the circle at O. Okay, hit pause, go back. Oops, I don't know why I made the same X. See, I did the mistake some of you guys do. I'm going to call this something else. Let me call this N. Okay, N is half the measure of the sum. This is not the subtracting the two arcs. Half the measure of the sum of these two arcs here. Okay, so it's half of 56 plus 48. It's the average of 56 and 48. So you may be able to do that in your head. There's a difference of 8 there, so a difference of 4 will give you the average, which is 52. You can add it together if you want, but it's going to be 52. Okay, that is the measure of angle CEB. Angle CEB. Okay. So what else are we looking for here? Let me erase those lines and use a different color here. Let's use bright purple. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to find the measure of angle F. Angle F is the angle outside the circle, and that's made by a tangent and a secant. Remember, that is the measure of the difference of the two arcs. So the outer arc here minus the inner arc here. So it's 144, subtract 112 divided by 2. Okay, so the measure of angle F is 1/2 of 144 minus 112. It's half of, what is that, 32, which is 16 degrees. That's the measure of angle F. Answer my question, right? And last but not least, let me erase some of this stuff. We are looking for the last but not least, DAC. DAC is DAC. Let me go back. I don't like that. Use this reddish color. Angle DAC. DAC is an inscribed angle. The measure of that inscribed angle is half of its intercepted arc. Be careful here. If you labeled everything well, we're looking at this arc here. This whole arc is going to be the sum of 112 and 48. Okay? So, measure that inscribed angle. Measure of angle DAC is half the measure of its intercepted arc, but its intercepted arc is 112 plus 48. Okay? Oh, no. About finished. 112 plus 48, it adds up nicely to 160. So it is 80 degrees is the measure of angle DAC. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. Unfortunately, this green color reminds me of the Michigan State loss, but go Virginia. Purdue almost beat Virginia. Virginia wins the national championship on Monday. Good for them. Purdue almost beat them. Okay. See you guys.